like 35.
Yeah,
Like I actually have moments now where I'm like, oh, she looks really nice. Like not on no, I want to holler at you.
yeah.
Not on no, like what's your phone number? Like, oh, you
It's
know
a,
what, girl, that's a nice dress.
that's it.
You look good.
That's it.
That's it.
I
Like we
like
have those moments now. We own enough.
I like how you put that together.
I like how you carry yourself. That's dope. On to
But
the
but
next.
the
I
moment
don't want
you
your
you
phone
press
number.
that thumb on the internet,
You like one post with some yams. Now all your
it's
posts is
over with.
yams.
It's over
I
with.
don't want no yams.
It's over with. You can't do it. Can't do it at
Man.
all.
All
Yeah,
22,
that
man.
it's
Come
literally
on.
one. Not even exaggerating, bro. Just one.
Literally one.
Like I'm
Literally
even
one.
careful with like I mute the teams that I don't. That's why I told you mute is my favorite button. I mute the teams I don't like that I don't want to hear. When my favorite team loses, I just mute the name. I want to scroll through
You
this
got
app
to.
stress free. I want to enjoy while I'm scrolling. Like, and it's muted for like a week because all the sports shows is going to talk about it for a week before the next team or whatever the next round is. Duke, I think they're still muted. I need to unmute them now, so because it doesn't matter. When Baltimore
Oh,
lost,
you better than me.
yeah,
I wasn't. I wasn't. When Luke sent that kick
yeah,
wide right.
yeah,
Oh, I went on Twitter for like a month.
yeah. With so
I'm not doing it.
with Loop, I did. Yeah, was it? It was about 2 weeks. It was about 2 weeks. What made it? I did it after Buffalo lost. I unmuted
Ah, okay.
because now I'm like the
Beautiful.
pressure is
That
off.
was beautiful.
Bro, that
Oh
was
my
the best
goodness.
hate watch ever.
That was
Ever.
the 20 that I don't
Man.
know if that'll be topped.
The whole game was perfect. Right before half,
Uh,
I turned it. It was like 45 seconds or something. I turned the
oh
channel
no.
because I don't watch halftime. I don't watch pregame
Me
shows.
neither.
I don't
Yeah.
do anything. If the Super Bowl starts at 6:20, if it says that, I'm turning it on 6:25. I don't want to see all
Bro,
the previews.
we the same.
I've
Yeah,
I've heard
I
about
don't
it.
talk I listen to talk. Yeah.
But yeah, bro, like I turned the channel. I'm like, they're just gonna kick it. I'm sorry, they're just gonna kneel it. And then I get on Twitter, Josh Allen fumbled the ball. I said, what? Turned it back, field goal. Best hate watch
I think that's what I text you.
ever. Yep.
I think I texted when he fumbled it.
And that's
And
probably
I was
why I
just
turned it
like,
back. Best hate watch ever, bro.
man, that jump was amazing. That turnover, I ain't gonna lie. Like he has a moment. Look, hey, people talk about Lamar, about Joe Burrow, whatever. If that man never wins the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
that fumble is gonna be
That
on
was the one, bro.
a loop.
And it was great because he was the reason they lost.
Well, not if you not according to ESPN,
Of course,
but
because the O lineman should have jumped on the fumble, and he didn't throw the long interception. The interception shouldn't have counted. Yeah, blah blah blah. But whatever,
that was an interception.
it was.
I'm in the minority on
I,
that. I
I'm,
thought that was a pick.
and I know I'm a defensive guy. There's not even been a homer. Who came down with it? So if you have simultaneously like possession, obviously, if the offensive player comes up with the ball, or if it's a tie at the end of it, it goes to the offense. Come on now, it's whatever. It's too simple. It's too simple.
The NFL want this man to win one so bad that
Bad.
they keep giving him receivers.
Yeah.
Like they done for all right. They called up Chicago, get rid of DJ Moore. So DJ Moore there now. It ain't gonna make a difference, but
DJ Moore
they just
he's not a difference maker. He's a good receiver.
he's a
But
quality
he's
receiver.
not gonna be like, hey, this is the missing piece. They had Amari
Yeah,
Cooper. Now it was
right.
kind of later, but it was like, I mean, what is it? Shakir? Like they're gonna use him the same way.
It ain't gonna make no big. And the same way like Zay, so that we're not
Yeah,
picking on like Zay ain't a game changer, difference maker. He gonna make some catches and some big plays, but like
and he's gonna
you
have
know,
his great games. But when it
and
comes
he gonna
down
have some
to it,
drops.
he's gonna have some drops. But when it comes down to it, like, bro, can you consistently beat one-on-ones on the outside?
Yeah.
And I love Zay. I think he's a what? He's a top 5 receiver in the AFC. If off the top
I
of
give
my
him
head,
that.
I can't think of. I'm thinking 5. I'm talking about the conference, not the NFL.
Top five in the conference.
5 in the
Yeah, man. Who's
conference,
like
but
what? Jamar Chase.
obviously those two are better. I'm trying, I'm off the top of my head.
Now we got to go
I
down the
really
list.
can't think of
Yeah.
in the AFC like who's better. But
Tyreek Hill's washed.
see what I'm saying? So, but yeah, like yeah, man, that was the best hate watch. And DJ Moore is we'll see what happens. And Zay Flowers gonna get you 1,300 yards, but when it comes down to it, who can beat man to man on the outside consistently?
Yeah, that's the
Consistently,
difference.
not being schemed up. It's a difference. I can
That's the
get
difference.
1,200 yards schemed up, but can
Yep.
I, hey, I need this back shoulder, I need this fade ball, I need this tough catch to get me 15 yards yak. Who can consistently do that? Yeah.
Hey, speaking of such, man, I'm starting to see more and more of these mock drafts before we dive into the first topic for today, which is one I'm sure people will eat up. I keep seeing these mock drafts with Kenyon Sadiq coming to the Ravens,
Yeah.
and I like Sadiq. I think he's going to be an amazing player. I do
I
not
don't want a tight
want a
end.
tight end.
No. No. Because Mark Andrews was a third or fourth,
Third round pick, I
third
think.
round pick. Isaiah Likely was like a sixth, fifth or sixth. Like
What was Charlie Kohler?
you don't need, especially our tight ends are schemed up. Like
Hell
like
yeah.
they don't just consistently be one-on-ones. Like we scheme them up just because threat of the run game, threat of the run game at the quarterback, and you got shifty receiver on the inside. So it's like all they have to do is get a matchup nightmare. But you don't no
Hmm.
first round no, and plus
I don't know what I would do.
and plus like if we're going back to the 2023 season when they had the number one offense, number one defense. The problem isn't that the defense struggles. The defense haven't forced a turnover in how long? Like 5 years in a postseason or something crazy like that.
The last Ravens interception in the postseason
Was
was
Marcus
against the
Peters?
Tennessee Titans. Was
See,
Marcus
how did I
Peters.
know that? Like
I
off the top of my head,
Yep,
it was a slant route to the white receiver. I can't remember his name that ended the game. That was the last one. And
that was the last
thinking
one,
about
which is
an actual
crazy.
turnover, like a fumble, a turnover on downs, it doesn't come to mind. So I don't care what position on defense, use that pick. I don't want a receiver at that pick.
No,
I don't like. That's,
no.
that's what I'm saying, bro. Because that's not the issue. That's not the glaring issue. Now, if you get you know about the trenches more than I do as far as the draftees.
Hey man,
If you got a guard that slides, I'm with it. I
give
don't.
it to me.
It's not sexy. It's not sexy. I hate it when they had to go Ronnie Stanley at number 6 way back when. But I'm like, we need that, but it's just not sexy. Like that's it. Offensive line in the first round is just not sexy. But I mean, you get a guard that slides at 14, a top guard. That's about where it's a
That's a
value pick
steal.
there. Yeah,
That's what I want. If I don't know, I might throw something out the window if they take a wide receiver or a tight end, right? Like I don't care if Jeremiah Love is still there. Jeremiah Love is the best player pound for pound in this draft. I think. I do not want Jeremiah
yeah,
Love. I want Buddy from Penn State,
yeah,
Ione or
yeah,
whatever. I
yeah,
can't pronounce his last name
yeah.
to plug in and play guard or center,
Yeah,
or give me Ruben Bain coming off the edge.
if
I
they
want
make it,
look, man. I
yeah, if
want
they,
I want somebody who's a playmaker who will slap
yes,
folks' hands, play with
yes,
ruthless aggression, and go violently put the quarterback in the ground in the middle in late January.
hmm
That's what wins championships. enough of this speed, pretty boy. I got 5 chains on. It don't win you
It
championship.
don't.
And you got Houdini at quarterback.
Yep.
So he don't make plays
You have
anyway.
enough. You have enough. A mad likely is gone, but you have enough. Get the
You got
trenches.
enough skill.
Get the trenches right on the offensive line, or get you somebody to knock somebody out, knock somebody out on the defensive line.
Like, I want violence. I need violence with this pick. Okay. Only wide receivers is my height. Anyway.
That's crazy.
I'm kind of getting nervous because it's a lot of people I respect
That
who
same.
kind of know what they're talking about, who keep talking about him at 14. And I saw Jordan Tyson in some of them. I'm just like, please stop. And I think Tyson's going to be great.
I do too.
Mind you, I think Tyson is going to be an elite wide receiver.
So, hear me out. If we are going offensive skill, that's who I want it to be. But I don't want to go offensive skill. I do not want to go offensive skill. But
you know what this reminds me of? Even if you get Jordan Tyson, who I legitimately think, like, I don't say that man remind me of Julio Jones, man.
Yeah.
You know how I feel about Julio Jones. Here's the problem. We actually talked about this when it happened. When Cincinnati took Jamar Chase over Penei Sewell. You want Jamar Chase in September, October, November, and December.
Yeah.
You need Penei Sewell in January and February.
I feel you.
Now, if they had Penei Sewell in the Super Bowl, they win that Super Bowl. The challenge there is obviously they don't get to the Super Bowl without Jamar Chase. So I get it.
Yeah.
Right? But like when it comes time to winning championships, it's them trenches, man. It's the trenches.
Bro. So I hope
it's the trenches.
Yes. Because somebody's gonna slide to 14. It's just somebody always falls in the Ravens' lap. So
whether it's Tyson, you know what? Whether it's Caleb Downs.
I wouldn't. The Ravens, they the one who leaked the Ruben Baines story.
Oh, I knew they leaked it. I have no doubt in my mind they leaked it.
I doubt he slides to 14. He's too good of a player. But
I don't know. Todd McShay's recent mock has Ruben Bain at 14.
14.
Let me check that. Let me make sure.
They've been talking about the short arm thing, which I listened to the Gridiron podcast, and who was it? Jerry McCoy. He's on there, and he was saying basically all the coaches he talked to said it is a big deal. I'm like, dude is a monster, man. Like, what are we watching? Like, I don't know, but I hope all of this is just ammunition for the other teams to just be like, you know what, we'll pass. We believe he has short arms and his troubled history, just like Jalen Carter in Philly, because there's no way the Falcons should have put him over Bijan, even though I love Bijan. But
yeah.
But yeah, Jalen Carter was a top 5 pick. Top 5 pick. And that's why they won the Super Bowl. Because of players like him.
100%.
So if I have the choice, I'm taking a dominant defensive player over a dominant offensive skill player every day of the week.
100%. They change games.
Yeah.
They change games. The problem is, like, and that's the thing, like, I think, like, that's why the skilled player positions are, more sexy to fans. Oh, they end up in the highlights and they make plays that you expect. The thing on the defense, and this is why they make the difference, it's just like you get Ruben Bain coming off the edge, getting around that tackle and getting a strip sack. You don't know that's coming. It changes the entire complexion of games, of seasons. Like the reason I want a defensive end is that this as a football coach, like the stuff that they do that doesn't show up on highlights or in the box score is what wins you championships.
If you watch the games, you see. We spoke about Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald was a D tackle, an undersized D tackle who can play DN, but he changed that Super Bowl. They don't win it without him because the running back. I can't remember the running back at the time in that Super Bowl. He was wide open. It was an easy throw. Jamar Chase was wide open. He beat Jalen Ramsey, but it was too much disruption. Burrow had no time and he had to get rid of it. It was
Mhm.
fourth down. Like that is what changes games because it doesn't matter if Jamar Chase was wide open. It doesn't matter because you couldn't get it to him. So if somebody like Ruben Bain falls, like I don't think obviously David Bailey isn't going to fall, or Arvell Reese isn't going to fall, but you get a
Nah.
edge rusher like that falls to 14. Cal Hamilton fell to 14 because of a slow 40 time,
Beast.
and
That
best
worked
safety in
out
the
just
league.
fine.
That's what I'm saying. So like for the last few years, the pickup that the Malachi starts, like they didn't need a safety wasn't a position of need, but the guy just fell in their lap. Now I'm excited to see him with Kyle Hamilton, with Mentor's defense. Like I'm excited to see that. But yeah, man, I'm going go edge rusher, please.
Yeah, I mean, I will say while we on it, like this is Todd McShay's draft report. He currently has Ruben Bain going 14 to the Ravens. He said his short arms
Mhm.
are the biggest concern when it comes to his projection as a high impact edge in the NFL. NFL teams don't like outliers, and no player with sub 31-inch arms has produced double digit sacks in a season for the past 20 seasons. So there's been a lot made about it, a lot of jokes, a lot of
Mhm.
memes. And I do think at that position, short arms do matter. I came front, right? At the same time, 9.5 sacks last year, 15.5 tackles for loss, 54 tackles, a
Mhm.
forced fumble, so on and so forth. He's got a motor, he's got relentlessness, he's got versatility. Um, and I don't know sort of what the difference is between short arms and regular size arms, right? 30 and 7/8 inches. Are we talking about 2 or 3 inches making a huge
Yeah.
difference in terms of getting around the edge, right? Like,
Yeah.
some of this stuff might be a little bit of nitpicking. Maybe 20 years he plays tight end instead of defensive end, right? The game has also changed in the way that we go about, getting guys off the edge, scheming and pursuing quarterbacks. So, yeah, it's an outlier. At the same time, like we don't play the same style of football we did 20 years ago, right? With the proliferation of these 7-on-7 camps and these dropbacks, like we got quarterbacks who routinely throw the ball 50 times a game. That didn't happen in 2004. So, yes, he's an outlier, but at the same time, like the game we play is a little bit of an outlier. Look, man, go get me a violent guy to get off the edge. We ain't had nobody since Terrell Suggs. He would also help Mike Green. If Namdi Matabike is coming back, which I thought he was retired, and apparently there's a lot of news now that he's not, foregone
Yeah.
conclusion with him being retired. Now that changes the entire dynamic
But here's the
of the
thing for
defense.
me, watching all of this past season, to me, I was thinking three technique for Ruben
Ooh,
Bain because, again,
ooh,
when you watch him, he mostly wins with power. Obviously, he can be you can be dominant in college, but if you're not facing a lot of dominant tackles, then you can't really determine like how it's going to translate in the NFL. But you put that guy inside. I'm thinking of an Aaron Donald. I'm not comparing like he's not. I don't know if he's going to be as dominant, but like you can put Aaron Donald at a 3, at a 1, or at a 5 at defensive
mm-hmm,
end. You have the speed of Ruben Bain, but the power. So usually guards are used to the power, but Ruben Bain has enough speed to power to kind of dominate. And you
yeah,
have, let's just say, if you slide him into that Ravens defense, and you have Henderson, Green, Badamuke, and him in the inside, bro, how are you going to stop that?
you're not.
Like that's tough. So it's not a. I'm not, putting him in a box and say he has to be a defensive end. Now, if
Yeah,
you're talking about a 3-4 defensive end, that's what I see him more so as, or just slide
mm-hmm,
him into the inside because he's not going to command double teams because you can't. Depending on what team you scheme him in or what team he goes to, you're not going to be able to double team him. So that's how I see him. But it just depends on the system and where he goes.
I like it.
But
I
I
like it.
think he can dominate in that position if the team he goes to has two solid ends.
Yeah, I like it. Well, it looks like he's going to be a Raven, according to Tom McShay.
Yeah.
So,
Let's do it.
I will say David Bailey has His arms come in about 33 and 3/4. So I'd say maybe about 2.5 inches longer than Ruben Bain. And Bailey's gonna go second overall. That's amongst insiders, that's a foregone conclusion. So the first two picks in the draft are pretty much done. Bailey's about 251 pounds. Ruben Bain, I think, is 263, 264. Last time I saw. To close out the
That's
thing there,
closer
and I
than I thought.
right. Like I thought he was a little. I
I
thought they
thought Ruben Bain was
had
like
a
280.
significant difference. Right.
Yeah.
Um, which and he still has some room to bulk up there. I will say to close the loop on the arms thing. Now, jokes, memes aside, people are like, oh, what is 2 inches in arm length? When you play a game where the difference between winning and losing,
Yeah.
it's like this, that does make a difference. Now I'm saying that just for the audience. Like, oh,
Yeah,
there's no
yeah, yeah.
difference in 2 inch. Yeah, it is. I mean, that swim move is a difference in 0.6 seconds
Yeah.
again to the quarterback. That's the difference between a 50-yard bomb for a touchdown
Mhm.
and a sack in 4th and 18.
It's
Right?
just
Like
like the difference
that,
between 6'2" and 6'4" receiver. That's a huge difference.
that's a huge
Huge.
difference going
Six
up for
two
the
is
football.
technically average. You say 6'4", you like jump ball. That's what you think.
That's a huge difference going for the football, which
Yeah.
I think like a lot of people don't really kind of understand. Like, yeah, in every average everyday life, that's not a big difference. When you talk about like football,
Yeah.
where the margins are so thin, yeah, it does make a huge difference. Jordan Tyson, 6'2" and 1/8.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was a little bit taller than that, I'm not gonna lie. Um
I,
anyway. All right, you got me warming up to Jordan Tyson out here, man.
I look at the stature. So no, not the stat. I say stature. I'm looking at like how he plays. He plays big.
Catch radius. Big body.
I like
Big body take both lanes.
I like Lemon from USC. He's a little bit more compact. They play the same
Yeah, I
though.
don't want that.
No, I don't want
Yeah,
that. I'm
no.
just saying as a football player, I don't
Yeah,
want that because you already have that. Don't
yeah.
get the same
We got
like
Zay.
you got Zay. You already have that. Lemon he
Yeah,
plays a little tougher than Zay, but I'm saying if you're gonna go receiver, get somebody who you don't have on the roster. That's my
100%.
point. That's I like Tyson,
Unless,
unless what?
unless you know my guy.
Who?
And I told when everybody was saying he was a third and fourth round pick in January, I'm like, no, that guy's a first. Omar Cooper Jr.
Oh,
And like we said, he's growing up draft boards. He gonna go in the top 16. Now I don't want him at 14. To be clear, but if EDC decides he wants to trade back and accumulate some more picks, which I wouldn't be opposed to, um, I'd be all right with Omar Cooper at the if he's there in the 20 to
yeah. I mean,
25 range. No,
I'm not mad at a receiver. I just think 14 at 14,
can't do it.
yeah, you can't do it because of
Can't do it.
like what you've struggled with in the past.
Yeah.
Like you can't do it.
Honestly, I'd take Akeem Mesidor at 14 if Ruben Bain is gone.
Yeah.
Like, we just need some guys to get after the quarterback. Anyway, we didn't plan on talking that much about
We
the
never do.
Ravens,
We just
but
go on a tangent, man. This the team
but
we know most about. Bro, I only gotta do research.
but
I could just spitball it.
what? There's no research, no preparations. I'm just like, yeah, I know what we need. I know the
Yeah.
draft. All right, man. We started off talking about yams. Speaking of yams, don't like no yams on Twitter or Instagram. Otherwise, your whole timeline gonna be yams, and you'll never be able to recover. I had to learn that the hard way. Dianna Rossini. There's been so much here over the past week or so, and normally I think we do a good job of avoiding the hot takes. But this story has just dominated sort of NFL sports media for quite a while. If you don't know her and the head coach of the Patriots, Mike Vrabel, who just coached in the Super Bowl 2.5 months ago, had some hidden pictures taken and released. I think it was by TMZ. And they was hanging out at some nice little resort by the pool, holding hands and interacting in ways that typically men and women who are not romantically involved don't interact with one another.
Yeah.
Um, I'm actually surprised by how I feel about this. Like I've thought about this like I'm like I really
I
feel
need
this
to
way.
hear your
Yeah,
thoughts first because you told me you had
me
an
first.
opinion, but I'm like I'm gonna wait for it.
You want me to go?
Yeah, I need you to go. I'm curious.
Man, look, I am I consider myself relatively, you know, forward thinking,
Yeah.
uh, inclusive, progressive. Some people might call that liberal, whatever word you want to use. I'm all for women's empowerment and, you know, all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? I watched Jamel Hill because she had plenty of thoughts on this, as one could expect. And she went on what's his name? Dan Lebertard's show and sort of talked about, all the other things and about, the double standard and all this other stuff. I wanted to come out on that side. I really did.
Yeah.
But I've thought about it in the context of its totality. And people are like, oh, there's a double standard. She's obviously resigned from the Athletic. Now her contract was up, I think, this June. With all this going on, I don't think there's a world where they would have, you know, um, renewed her contract
Yeah.
anyway. All right. So I think it's a matter of her maybe getting out in front of it and saying, hey, I'm out. Although at first they were like, yeah, we're standing by her. We respect it. Right. So she must have had a really compelling story to tell them
Hmm.
about why these pictures surfaced, and or they were just like, we'll stand behind her, we'll do this in public so we can be seen as supporting this woman, even though we know her contract is up in June and we're not going to renew it anyway. Whatever. Here's my thing. um and the reason why I think, even though double standards are real and they apply in a lot of different circumstances, I'm not buying that here. Dianna Rossini chose a profession that fundamentally relies on honesty,
Yep.
transparency, integrity, and trust. Mike Vrabel's profession is a lot of things. It does not in any way rely on honesty, transparency,
No.
and trust and integrity. It does not. And so, like, when people try to play the whole double standard thing, I get it, right? Because that is something that applies in our world and our society and a lot of other institutions. I would honestly tell you it applies in almost every other institution but this one. This just so happens to have occurred in probably the most unique workplace that exists in our entire world. Right? An NFL organization or locker room is different. NBA, NHL, whatever, anything that is all male sports, right? She chose to work in a profession where the people who she is talking about and reporting on are all men.
Yeah.
You don't get that anywhere else. And so, like, people are like, oh, well, what if this happened in another place? It can't happen in
It
another
can't
place.
happen in
It
another
won't happen
place.
in another place.
It won't.
This is the only place,
There's no other
right? She
workplace
works.
like this.
There's no other workplace where there's nothing but men. Now we've got some women coaches sprinkled in, and I love the growth we made there, so on and so forth. No one on that field is anything other than a man, right? And so, like, I did not want to feel this way. I really didn't. I wanted to be able to honestly and
Yeah.
earnestly land on the here goes the double standard. But I'm like, you're a journalist. You chose a profession. Not only you chose a profession, you chose a profession that, like I said, relies on integrity, and you chose to work that profession in a sport where there's nothing but men, and where, sort of the appearance of sort of, transgressions, romantic relationships, whatever, can bring this about. And so, people, I was like, oh, well, nothing will happen to Mike Vrabel. Yeah, nothing will happen to Mike
What did he
Vrabel.
do
He
wrong?
coached in the Super Bowl 9 weeks ago.
I
Like,
mean,
now look, if they're coming off a 3-14 season, I
yeah,
think this conversation around him is different.
yeah,
I really do.
yeah,
I'm not firing my head coach that just took us to the Super Bowl.
yeah. For
I'm
what?
sorry.
For cheating on his
For
wife,
what? That's sports,
allegedly?
man. Like, he allegedly cheated on his wife. He a football coach, man. He's not a
I
journalist.
mean,
And so I think
yeah,
that's been my challenge here. Just like, I look, I wanted to follow people down this whole double standard route. But this is the NFL.
yeah.
Like, this is quintessentially an institution, a sport that we all know cares about absolutely nothing but winning.
That's it. And she
The man
knows.
coached in the Super Bowl.
And
And
she
she
knows. And I feel like that's why she was like, you know what? It probably is let's say she's on her feminist movement and she's like, it probably is a double standard. But I know what I signed up for. Like, for one, that's a hard job to thrive in if you're a woman.
Yeah.
So to be as highly regarded as she was or is, like she must have been good at her job.
Oh yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. She is good at her job. So in my opinion, she just knew, like, you know what? I got caught. Nothing is going to happen to him because, you know, as as far as society goes, they're thinking men cheat anyway. Like, it's just it's just what they do, and I'm going to get the backlash because I'm a woman in a majority, not a majority, a male sport, a male business. So it's like that's not even what we're talking about. It's you're a journalist, man or woman. Like, it's all integrity. Like insiders, I'm thinking about Ian Rappaport and Adam Schefter and
Mm-hmm.
Shams. Like, they won't reveal their sources.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because if they reveal their sources or they do anything of the sort, they don't get the inside scoop anymore. That's what make them good at their
Mm-hmm.
job. So you talk about the integrity, the trust. You have to have trust with these players, and you just like you can't get caught doing something like this. Like, you
Yeah.
just can't. Like, if you would have never done this, we would never. If, like, let's just say they do have a romantic relationship. We don't know. We can only allege. But let's just say, for
Allegedly.
the sake of argument, they do have a romantic relationship. Now we're going to look back and see, dang, when she reported that loss in week 10, she didn't really go hard on Vrabel like everybody else did. Why? See what I'm saying? Like, you can't do that. And it's not because she's a woman, it's because she's a journalist.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That integrity as a journalist. If you want to move up in the ranks and be highly regarded, you have to have that as a journalist. It just so happened that she's a woman and she got caught allegedly in a romantic thing with the head football coach who just went to the Super Bowl.
Who just
So,
went to the Super, which is key.
which is key because I agree with you. If they went 3-14, don't think he would have been fired because, for one, he's a white male and he's coaching the New England Patriots. He's not Gerard Mayo. I'm just saying.
Not Gerard Mayo.
He wouldn't have gotten fired his first year, even if he had the same record. But what I'm saying is, you get a lot of leeway when you win because that's all the NFL cares about.
That's all they
That's
care about.
it. You see, I'm losing it. What's the Falcons defensive end, edge rusher?
James Pierce Jr.
James. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He will play this year.
That thing, that thing done trickled out to basically nothing. Have you seen
He
that?
will play this year.
It's crazy.
Everything that came out is very true, but legalities and all of that, NFL don't care. It don't care. So again, you can beat women, you can murder someone, you can speed, do whatever, drunk driving, substance abuse. If you're good and you can contribute to winning, the NFL said, "Oh, we don't care." So Mike Vrabel has all of that going for him. A journalist doesn't. She just got to be honest, be trustworthy,
She
have
gotta
that
be honest.
integrity. She can't do that. If you need to sneak in the hotel
Yeah.
room, you have a way. You just chose not to.
Like, what?
You
Why are
literally
y'all by the
chose.
pool doing
Why?
this?
Y'all have all
Why?
this money. He can fly you up. You can, like, y'all
Why
can
you
go on
want to
a
go on
private
vacation
island
and play house?
somewhere. So clearly, it's either one or two things. It was actually nothing, or they're just stupid. One
Hey
of the
man,
two.
it could be.
They could be just
Two.
stupid.
They
Like, they
could
could
be
be
just stupid.
very naive to think I'm gonna just hold hands in public and nobody's gonna say anything. I know we both have
Hold on now.
husband and a wife. I don't know.
They wasn't just holding hands. They wasn't just holding hands, bro.
hey man, you right.
Hey, them fingers was interlocked.
Interlock. That
Now,
bro, that's crazy.
how many women you done interlock fingers with?
Man, the one that
Okay,
gave me this.
okay. I'm just saying. I'm
I
just saying.
feel you.
I'm just saying. Every woman I done interlocked my fingers with, I was in a relationship with for at least 2 years. I'm gonna leave that right there. All right. So maybe they just starved the physical touch, and they wanted to interlock them fingers,
Maybe so.
To feel closer to one another.
I
All
guess,
right.
man.
Do you
But
think?
yeah,
Okay.
but
Uh,
can't do that.
back to can't do that. To the substance of the story, and I have heard this. It's like, okay, well, in what ways are Shams and Schefter and all these other insiders compromised? And the answer to that is,
We don't
I
know.
don't know.
That's the point.
That's the point.
That's the point. And if somebody like Jamil Hill want to out them and tell their business if they're doing something, that's like that's what you want to do. Like that's your business. But the fact that nothing has come out and all I know about Shams is if I'm watching the NBA draft, like a minute before or like 30 seconds before the pick is in on TV, he's already tweeting about
Yeah,
it.
I already tweeted it.
That's what I
Right.
know about him. That's
That's
all I
it.
need to know. The Luca breaking news, he tweeted about it.
I thought he got hacked.
Man, what? I miss my guy Woj. The Woj bombs are
Woj
crazy.
bomb. I miss Woj bomb.
But yeah,
Hey, Shams do got a thing for K Adams though.
yeah.
But
We
even in
don't
that,
know.
even if we don't
It's
know,
all
let's
assumption.
assume it's assumption. And even that, let's assume they do got a thing going
Yeah.
on. She works in a different sport.
That too.
Right?
That too.
So, like, it ain't even like we saying, look, most people, let me school you kids a little bit, right? Before the internet, most people met their partners at work. I think the data actually bears that out. Or a large percentage. It might have been work, church, third space, whatever. So, like, I'm not necessarily like opposed to that, but it's just like if you're reporting on one sport, hey man, like it's kind of difficult to do this thing and
It
be
is.
integral about it and also date somebody. Now you could go full Joe Buck, and I didn't know him and Michelle Bison, now Michelle Bison Buck, were a thing until after they were engaged. That's cool too, right? Like I think maybe this is even different if they're both single. Right.
Yes.
And I'm not
It
saying
is.
that this angle is right.
Yes. Yes. It is different.
I'm not even saying that's right.
It's not ethical on her part, but
Right.
it's different.
Like it adds an extra layer to okay, well, these two single people are hanging out. Yeah, she's still a reporter, cool, and she might still be compromised, whatever, all that stuff. Last thing I'll say about this, and I heard an interesting sort of perspective here. It's just like, all right, well, you don't think there are male journalists who are compromised because they're in relationships with these male players? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I do think that. I know that's happening.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's just mathematics. I don't know how many gay players there are in the NFL. There are probably hundreds of them.
Yeah.
If not more. I'd bet money that some of them are having relationships with other male journalists. Number one,
no, that's the point.
We don't.
That's the
and
point.
That's what this comes back to.
Like, that is the point. We don't know.
That's what this comes
and
back
that's
to.
what
We don't know.
That's how it should be. I don't want to know. No, I just don't. No, I just don't want to know that because now I'm thinking like, all right, I know you're getting these scoops. Let's just say we're talking not. Let's just say it wasn't Vrabel. It was Nick Sirianni. Now we know who's the AJ Brown scoops, and see what I'm saying. Now we know who's giving that information out. It's just not a good look.
Yeah, yeah. It changed the game. Also, I think she had reported that Milton Williams had signed a free agent contract with the Panthers. I don't know if that was fault, and I'm not saying she did that purposefully. I'm just saying I do think I remember her saying that he had signed with the Panthers, and the Patriots came in and scooped. And so then you get questions of, okay, well, does that mean other teams, stopped with their bids, assuming he had already signed, and that helped the Patriots come in and seal? Like, this is the issue with that kind of thing. right? And so, yeah, I mean, look, Diana is one of the few people who I follow on the Athletic. Like
Yeah,
during NFL season, I read almost everything that woman writes. She is incredibly great at her job. Um, which I think honestly makes this a little bit more sort of difficult to digest. It's actually funny because like if she's like not that good, I don't know if this is a story,
it's not. It's not.
you know?
Not. And I don't
And
read
like
everything, but I know her name. I
yeah,
know her name, so she like that's when like we know she's good at what she does. So
yeah,
this
yeah.
makes it, yeah, man.
The last thing I do want to say on this though is I know like there's a contingent out there of people who are like, oh, like I think Fred Carton has said this, right? Like this
uh-huh.
sets women journalists back however many years.
No,
I don't agree with
no,
that,
it doesn't.
right?
It
This
doesn't.
is this is
One
not
person.
indicative of this is one person who allegedly maybe made a mistake or maybe it's not a mistake. I don't know. This changes nothing about how I feel about Mina Kimes,
Yeah,
Andrea Carter. Andrea Carter's a beast. She might be my favorite basketball analyst,
yeah.
honestly. But anyway, that's a different conversation.
Bro,
She no ball.
that's all
It don't change the way.
bro. We
That's
want
all we care
women,
about.
woman, man. Do you know ball and can you talk about ball? That's
That's all you care
it,
about.
bro. Have you watched? I
Like
don't know if you've been watching the NBA this season.
Taylor Rooks,
Not Taylor Rooks. Taylor Rooks too. She's from Georgia too.
she a beast.
The whole prime cast, like,
Solid,
bro, they're solid because they just
solid.
talk ball, no takes,
That's it.
nothing, just ball.
That's it.
That's all I want to hear.
That's all we want. That's all we want.
So
So yeah, this ain't got nothing to do with women everywhere. Women, this ain't no setback for women. Y'all keep
yeah,
doing y'all thing. You want to get into sports journalism. You want to be the next Mina Kimes, Andrea Carter, Taylor Rooks, Maria Taylor,
Maria Taylor.
whatever.
Yeah, I was
Keep
about
doing
to
your
say
thing.
Maria Taylor,
We,
beast.
she different. Yeah,
Boy,
she
different.
she different.
I
She
seen
gonna
her
be on
go to
NBC for like
ESPN and
60 years.
NBC. I'm like, oh yeah, you different.
Yeah. Yeah, she different. She gonna be there for 60 years. She got it. She's like Bob Costas out
Yep.
here now. Um, so yeah, no, and I didn't want to have that opinion, like I said,
No,
but
I
I
feel
thought
you,
long and
bro.
hard.
I
I'm
feel
like,
you.
it's tough. Last thing, man, new unis dropped.
Oh yeah,
New unis dropped for the term. Who we got? The Titans, the Commandos, the Falcons, the Rams,
and the
and the
Ravens.
Ravens. Who got the best new drip?
Hey, I'm not even being, bro. This is no bias. We text each
Uh,
other early in the week. And I was scared. I'm like, please don't do a revamp,
it could go either way.
bro. Like it, we don't need it. But the
Yeah.
subtle changes, bro. I told you, like, I don't have a I don't have a Ravens jersey. I've been
Mhm.
purposely waiting to get the Super Bowl patch jersey. I got to get one now. I got to get the all
Yeah,
black
man.
joint. I got to because the subtle changes. I love the shield, the three different shields. I'm a big stripe guy on the pants and logo on the
Mhm.
sleeve. Like they have three different shield logos, and the stripe color on the pants is different on every color. I like the wing accent. It reminded me of Oregon, but it's still not flashy. It's still
Yeah, yeah.
subtle. I still like the throwbacks. The when they wear the gold, they have the gold numbers, the purple jerseys with the gold
Mhm.
numbers. Glad they kept that. I can't say enough about it. I love the
Yeah, man.
Falcons because I like that people wanted them to go to the throwback, but they can always just have the throwback games. So don't make that
Yeah.
uniform like the throwback. I like the
Right.
subtleness. Again, I like the pant stripe. I like that the jersey is clean and not a lot on it. I
Yeah.
like the block numbers. The Rams, little changes. The Commanders, I feel like they should have got rid of the W and just had the spear.
Just the
That's
spear.
that's just me. They went back to the original, but they should just had the spear. The W takes
That's it.
it's not awful, but I think the spear would have been it. The Titans love them. I'm glad they went the powder blue, the light blue, whatever.
Them
I have
things,
zero
man.
complaints on everybody, every team who changed. I
Hey.
don't want to say zero complaints, but every team upgraded. I would say
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. The uniform change is bad at 1,000. The one thing I will say
Literally.
is batted at that like 5 for 5. They nailed it. The only thing about the Rams is I think they changed the outline of the LA from white to yellow, and so it's
Okay.
kind of all just one
Gotcha.
little logo, which is kind of hard to discern. So I'm like, all right,
They
cool.
changed the eye.
Um,
It's more detail on the ram, the eyes of the ram. I like
yeah,
that.
I do like that. My favorite, so as to not be a homer,
Okay.
them Titans joints is
But
nice,
they
man.
nice. They
Them
nice.
things is
I'm glad they
nice.
went away with the primary navy. Just go to
Yeah, let
Oilers
that crap
look.
go. They need to just go back to the Oilers name, I think. But
Well,
anyway,
yeah.
I know that's maybe Houston owns it. Now, I will say part of this, some of this is like teams going back to jerseys that they should have never
Right.
left.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
like like
Yep.
the Titans should have never left the Oilers
Nope.
scheme. The Commandos should have never left the old, racist name scheme.
Yeah.
I like the Falcons in their new look is a little old school, but it's sleek,
That's what I'm
it's
saying.
clean. The
It's
Ravens is kind of
clean,
totally
bro.
different.
Like
I
I
like
want to
it.
get a
Why
Falcons
not?
jersey.
Oh, I do too. Yeah, yeah, I do too.
And we're not homers. I don't hate the Falcons. We both, from here, from Georgia, but I want to get a Bijan Robinson jersey.
Yeah,
That
man,
that
that
jersey
thing
is
nice.
clean. The red one is clean.
Yeah, yeah, I need that.
I need to
I
if
need
he
that.
signs an extension, I'll get a jersey. Because
Yeah, when they play.
I need to wear it for like 4 years.
Yeah, but you gotta wait on that because who knows if that's going.
That's what I'm saying. If he signs the
Who knows if that's
extension,
gonna happen?
I don't know.
Yeah. Um,
But they
that's
play
gonna be a
this
nice
year.
uniform game when them two teams play this year, man.
Ooh,
Yeah, we're
I'm
gonna be in
thinking
there
about
too.
that. Yeah,
That's
we
a.
in there.
I'm just waiting for the schedule drop. Yeah.
Yeah, bro. We
Last question. Who is in the most desperate need
mm.
of a uniform overhaul? There are lots of options here. There are a lot of teams with some nasty uniforms that need to get rid of.
So the Saints need an update, not an
Yeah,
overhaul.
those ain't nasty.
They're not
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
nasty, but I feel like the color contrast helmet and the numbers can be better. But I do like that it's not a lot. It's all black and then it's just gold.
Mhm.
So I do like that. Man, I gotta think on this one. Um, I don't like what Arizona did the last time, but I'm not gonna count them because they
Ugh,
just they just changed them. You got something in
I
mind?
got one.
What you
I do. I hate the Texans uniforms,
got?
even the new ones.
You hate them?
That color combo has so much potential.
Are
They're
you?
like y'all been out here just
Do you
looking
hate like
nasty
the
for
the
20
the
years.
double blue? The like what?
I hate the double blue. I hate the logo. I hated their color rush uniforms back in the day. I hate the alternative ones now. I hate the stripe when one of them just seems out of place. I'm like, yo, like y'all have so much potential here. You got the red, white, and blue a combo, and you in Houston.
Yeah.
Y'all like all that American exceptionalism stuff. Give me something nice. Give me something nice to wear. Who has a great color combination that I think is not living up to their potential? The Minnesota Vikings.
Yes. Yes. There's
Those uniforms should be the best in the league.
bro the all white joints that they wore.
No, those are clean.
Those are clean. Those should be their primary.
You put that
Those
white
should be
on
their
white is different.
primary. I don't know if I have like a. I think the Panthers can do like. I don't think I have like one that's I truly hate, but
Oh,
they
I
can
hate
be.
Carolina's uniforms too.
I'm leaning towards them because it's like nothing screams like man. I like that jersey.
Yeah,
But
I
like you
wouldn't buy
said,
one of those.
it has a lot of potential. Though that color scheme has a lot of potential.
Yeah, the Panthers. Your name is
Yeah,
the Panthers.
right.
So much you can. Have they had a uniform overhaul since '95? I think they've worn the same
I
uniforms.
think so, bro. Maybe they've had like
They
a
need a new
tweak,
logo, everything.
but yeah, they can definitely do better, bro. They can definitely do
Mhm.
better. You know what? Well, never mind. I mean, I was thinking about the three, like, Raiders, Packers, Steelers. Those are the ones who would never change because
Untouched, untouchable.
it's really the standard of like simple uniforms.
Yeah,
Raiders, you
can't touch
can't
it.
do anything.
No, it's perfect.
Pittsburgh can't do anything. Green Bay, literally, because they don't do the most. Speaking of Pittsburgh, we're gonna talk about Tomlin on our Nets. How they treat him. I can say he's my guy now because he's retired from that team.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
I never hated
They
him.
just put him on a. They just put him on a milk carton. I don't know where
Yeah,
this man is.
ever. No,
Nothing.
we don't know.
Nothing. That's how the Pittsburgh Steelers operate. Well, that's why y'all got a 44-year-old, what's his name, at quarterback, and you have no way out
Maybe.
of purgatory anytime soon. Talk about Mike Tomlin. We're gonna do a little mock draft, headed into the draft. And we'll also talk a little bit more about why ESPN hates Lamar Jackson, maybe. Just because I'm sure they'll give us something. I mean, we're just gonna talk about them falsely saying he didn't show up to OTAs.
Yeah.
That's a little old, but I'm sure they'll talk about Lamar Jackson again by
Yeah.
the time we get on here again.
He skipped the day
That's what
because
ESPN
his
does.
grandma was sick. Oh, he should have
Yeah.
stayed. Something crazy like
Is he a real leader? No. Will he ever win the Lombardi? Yeah. Anyway. Appreciate it. Hey, make sure you subscribe, like the show, like the channel, share it with your homies. If you don't do that,
you know what it
guess
is.
what you are?
A hater.
Big face hater. It's the all 22, y'all.